Welcome to the High Tech Freedom Podcast. This is a podcast where we bring successful tech sales professionals, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs to share best practices, insights, and lessons learned with other tech sales professionals. As a sales professional, the more we learn, the more we earn. Once we earn it, how can we put those hard-earned commission dollars back to work to build additional income streams that will create the freedom we are all working to achieve? I'm your host, Chris Freeman. I'm a high-tech sales leader, real estate investor, and lifetime learner. Welcome back to the High Tech Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Freeman, and today I want to talk about thinking differently. I've been thinking about thinking differently quite a bit recently. Now, you may be saying to yourself, great, here we go again, another person talking about mindset. Now, if that thought creeped into your mind, hey, this episode's for you. As sales professionals, our perception on things has a significant impact on how we work, how we execute, ultimately success or failure. In many cases, we probably let rules or traditions hinder our ability to do great things. Maybe that's just the way it's done, stay in your lane, this is the culture, etc. As an example, at this point, almost everyone has heard an example or story about Steve Jobs. He had really high expectations for everything and had beliefs on what he and Apple could achieve that were way beyond what employees at Apple believed was possible. For most people, this level of confidence does not come easy or even natural. In fact, many people learn over time to just fit in, to play nice, don't rock the boat. And unfortunately, over time, this builds a habit of mediocrity. It hinders our ability to think and believe that we could do big things. Our perceptions has a significant impact on who we are, what we can do, what we can or cannot achieve. So bringing it back to the sales role, how many times as a salesperson, you've been so wrapped up on focusing on some obstacle of your deal? Maybe it's the competition. Maybe it's the pricing. You're more expensive than everybody else. Maybe it's a feature that you don't have. It impacts your success on the deal. And Ryan Holiday, an author, he has a book called The Obstacle is the Way. Great book. Check it out if you get a chance. But he has a quote, really a question in the book that goes as follows. When we believe in the obstacle more than the goal, which will inevitably triumph? I think it's a good question. So think about that question as it relates to your selling or even maybe your personal life. I'll give you a personal example. I hope you are enjoying this episode. I wanted to break in with a quick commercial. During the podcast, we sometimes talk about how to invest those hard-earned commission dollars so that you can build that freedom we are all working towards achieving. Now, I built that through 20 years of real estate investing. Now, recently, my team helped me put together a webinar on how top sales pros can create passive income and achieve financial freedom with hands-off real estate investing. Now, I'm still doing this. And as I continue to invest, I'm giving opportunity for others to learn and invest alongside of me. So if you want to learn more, go check out our webinar at hightechfreedom.com/webinar. That is hightechfreedom.com/webinar. We will also put the link in the show notes. Now back to the show. Early in my career, I was so nervous to meet with an executive. When I first started selling, I would worry about not being smart enough, not having the right thing to say, being too young. I mean, I did look young. The list of worries, or let's just call them what they really were, excuses, was pretty long. Well, guess what? That became my reality. When I would reach out to an executive, I remember this one executive company called Pacific Corp. I was pounding on this guy for the longest time. But the problem was I was not communicating at their level, and I'm sure they could see it. The messages that I would send, the phone calls that I would make, just wasn't connecting with that executive. Now, if I did get in front of one of the executives, my own thoughts would probably that had a big impact on my execution. And by the way, the results were poor early on. So Zig Ziglar, he's an author, motivational speaker. One of the first sales books that I read, really, but I think right before I started college, and he had this term called stinking thinking. Well, I had it. Fortunately, what I learned early in my career with really some incredible help from a great manager was that I cannot control reality, but my perceptions of the environment can impact that reality. And this is, you'll see this trait in many successful entrepreneurs. They can see and believe that something could be different, something can be created or done that has not been done before. And sure, there'll be obstacles, but they just adapt. They work through them. They look at that as part of the process. They're so hyper focused on the goal and the outcome. That's what they're visualizing. So as I wrap up, think about this. Next time you're faced with an obstacle, instead of fixating on the obstacle, just ask yourself, what new options has this obstacle opened up for you? Dare I say, embrace the obstacle, be excited for the obstacle, thrive on the knowledge that the obstacle will create a new path for your success. So it all boils down to perception and really how you choose to perceive things or perceive your environment. So until next week, make this your best week ever.
Thanks again for joining us today. To get more sales and real estate tips, you can subscribe to our newsletter at hightechfreedom.com. You can also join our private Facebook and LinkedIn group that is exclusively for sales professionals. If you found a nugget of good information in the podcast, please subscribe, give us a positive rating, and write a review. If there is a topic that you would like us to cover in the future, please send us a note through our website at hightechfreedom.com. Until next week, make this your best week ever.